Hello YouTube, and we have a YouTube exclusive here thanks to Hoodwinked and Ian. This one is for you both here. Now, we've gotten our list. We had to make a few adjustments on the fly, but we'll see how we do, taking people from 60 down to 0. Well, at least most of the people. Please know you're in. Let's see how Demir Blue-Black Mill works in Modern. That's right, YouTube. We're back on Mill thanks to Hoodwinked and Ian. Thank you both for supporting the stream. And we've got a pretty typical list here. Now, there are quite a few things going on in Modern that would try to prevent Mill from working. After all, Mill is creeping up the tier lists at being played relatively frequently within the Magic Leagues online. Now, how do we combat that? Well, we'll go ahead and just point it out. We've got a full play set of surgical extractions, and this can actually help impact things that are maybe combo based, or a pesky creature, or pesky card in general. We'll see how often this benefits us, but for the most part it's to make sure that we don't get caught up on perhaps an Emrakul spinning in, or Kozilek, or other things like that. No Gaias, please. This is an 8 crab list, Hedron crabs, Ruin crabs, and Lurrus here to support the crabs. And because we're in the crabs and Lurruses, we've got Mesmeric Orb, which I believe is perhaps a favorite of Ian's. I like this one as well. This has us untapping things, and then you get to mill. Both sides. So we'll maybe use that to our advantage with Lurrus, and maybe we'll use that to our advantage to win. Obviously, the goal here is to mill them out. What are our mill spells of choice? Well, instead of being in the easier to cast Maddening Cacophony, we're going to be doing Glimpse the Unthinkables a little bit more and getting that little extra 2+ on the mill, milling 10 instead of 8. This is a typical list with archive traps here. Drown the Lock is becoming a staple, and occasionally we'll get a nice Ancestral Recall in the versions of Visions of Beyond, depending on how many cards are in the graveyard. There are no notable lands to really point out other than maybe Field of Ruin, which is pretty typical, and Palace in the Clouds. So pretty stock style of list. We did have to adjust things. Hoodwinked and I went back and forth a little bit. Mystic Sanctuary is banned, and that was in one of our previous lists and does not make an appearance here for obvious reasons. Sideboard's just a mixture of things. We do have a bridge in this list, so unless we really need that, we'll try not to bring that in just because it doesn't interact with Lurrus, but that is okay. We could always bring in Lurrus along with the bridge. Couple counter spells, Soul Guide Lanterns, Crypt Incursions, an extra Pate, Bantu, Blood Sheaf removal, this, that. But one thing to note is even though we have Crypt Incursions main deck, we also have 4 Profane Mementos. This kind of gives me a reminder of what we're doing with Red Prison with 3 Dragon Claws. 4 if you include the elixir, that should be probably a Dragon's Claw. Profane Memento is here for those aggressive red decks, specifically probably Prowess and Burn. That being said, this can also impact other things like, say, Jund Death Shadow and a few other heavy creature lists, giving us that little boost that we might need in order to find perhaps Bantus or a bridge. This is 8 crab mill here in Modern. We hope you enjoy it. Hoodwinked and Ian, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's go to our league, let's find our first opponent, and let's play some Magic. Fun fact, as we queue up and thank Hoodwinked and Ian one last time, well, probably not the last. A fun fact though, our intros and our deck techs are actually taken in one take. Okay, that's not surprising. I don't really cut anything, but we actually don't practice them either beforehand. And now I cheated this time because I recorded the entire thing and realized the mute button was still muted from last time. So we did get to do them, but typically it's just a one-time through, we speak our mind and run with it. I'm not sure that's the brightest idea, honestly. Let me know. Sometimes we might ramble. 2 to 4 minutes is our goal always with those, especially for the YouTube's exclusives. We're queued up here looking for match number 1. Hopefully we'll find one here soon. We'll see you when that pops. There we go. The queue has popped here and we found our first opponent. Let's begin. 60 down to 0. Let's make it happen. We'll go ahead and play first, get to declare Lurrus. Interesting enough, because there's so many variations of Lurrus, it doesn't give our opponent too much information. That being said, Ruin Crab obviously will give them some insights onto what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and keep this, probably just play it off the island here, and let's start playing some Magic. This should be interesting. We've got the orb here, we've got the crab, we got a removal spell, we have the archive trap. I mean, things are looking just really good here. I'm really excited. Let's go. Ruin Crab here to start things off. Good luck, opponent. Playing that Chandra Awakened Inferno. How much do you pay attention to these avatars? All right, what are we going to be playing against? 52 cards to go. Windswept Heath. Do they dare fetch? Well, they're gonna have to play some Magic here. And fetching they go. Gotta get them with the archive trap. We'll see if they play something like a Bird of Paradise or something else. I think if they play Bird of Paradise, I might flood his Strand, get something for the Fatal Push and kill. Utopia Sprawl, we'll obviously just play Orb then instead. This first one's a tough one for them. They're nervous. Don't be nervous, it's just a crab. Utopia Sprawl. All right, let's go ahead and blast them here. Take our turn back. It's Seasoned Pyromancer territory, Cloythus and Blood Runes, all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and do some probably fetching here. I'm going to pick up an extra... I want to pick up an extra island, I suppose. So let's do that. Mill a little bit more. Let's fetch. Extra island, and we'll go ahead and slap down a Mesmeric Orb and pass the turn. There is a real probability that they'll get just a Blood Moon here, and it'll stop me from doing much else in the future. Pillage goes to the bin here, a good one to have milled over with a Mesmeric Orb. Utopia Sprawl is naming red currently. 30 cards to go, we're halfway there. Best card here, it would see a Stomping Ground, not play Blood Moon, maybe a Seasoned Pyromancer, field, and nail them. No such luck, it looks like. All right, Bone Crusher Giant here. Can't really activate it just yet. There's a Glimpse the Unthinkable. Let's go ahead and do that. Watery Grave, mill them for a little bit. Let's go ahead and glimpse them. Another 10, down to 17. Gonna untap 2 and see where we're at. We can always go blocking in the future here. We may actually go ahead and pick up the Lurrus that we have. Lurrus, I keep them over here now so I don't forget about them. All the basics for my opponent. 4 mana Bloodbraid Elf. Pillages the Orb. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, I do not have the Fatal Push online for the Giant here. Definitely not going to block this turn. We'll love another Orb here. Another Crab works just as well. Let's go ahead and double trigger here. And kind of just want to put a Lurrus to hand, honestly. Just play the Lurrus to hand, even though I can't really do anything with it with the Watery Grave here. We only have 7 to go here, which means a land off the top, especially a fetched land, is lethal. I will probably consider blocking, but going to 4 is maybe not that scary. We could have also played this so that we block and then we Fatal Push as well. So maybe we let this through. How many bolts have we seen? Here's a bolt. Here's a bolt, here's a bolt, here's a bolt. So 4 bolts are gone. This looks like a Bloodbraid Elf, potentially. Another Bone Crusher Giant, okay. Followed by Seasoned Pyromancer, another, oh. All right, I think we just let this come through here, because if we top deck a land here, we can get the Mesmeric Orb with the Lurrus. And we do top deck the land, we end up getting to play Lurrus here, and then we also get to play the Orb out of graveyard. There you go. Looks good here. They have 2 cards in hand. We'll lose that last card. There is no way they can beat us. And we get there in game number 1. Nice. Worked out pretty well. All right. Aether Gust, Bontu's, Crypt Incursion are interesting. Potentially Bridge. Profane Memento maybe. Don't think Soul Guide Lantern. Blood Chiefs maybe as well. Lots of things that are interesting to me. We'll decide if Bridge is necessary here. What do we not need? That is the bigger question here. We can probably cut 2 Surgicals here. Let's see here. I like the Eliminate. I like the Drown the Lock. Obviously the Glimpse. We already have 2 Crypt Incursions. The question is, do we need another one? Probably don't need a Blood Chiefs if I already have Fatal Pushes plus Eliminate. Eliminate might be worth taking out for like Bontus instead, just because they can get a fairly wide board. So let's do Aether Gust, Crypt Incursion, Bontus. Profane Memento is kind of like hit or miss. My opponent's going to hit me for fairly large amounts here. We could do 2 Profane Mementos and just completely take the Surgical out, which is maybe not a bad idea. The other thing is we are considering bringing in artifacts, and we do know they play Pillage. They'll probably consider bringing in a Braid if they have that in the sideboard as well. So it may be worth kind of overloading a little bit on the artifacts. Gaining 4 or 5 life is pretty reasonable. Let's try this. I don't think I want anything else here. I'm pretty happy with what we've got. Let's do it. Let's go. All right. Game 2, match 1. I don't have black mana. I'm gonna keep this. I might just lead with Profane Memento and then Crab land. Maybe I should just Crab first. It might be just Crab first. That being said, I'm gonna have a lot of mill that happens before the Profane Memento if I do it that way. Tough to say. They could also just bolt a Crab, which isn't the greatest thing. We'll see. Opponent mulligans to 6 here. I think the hand is decent. It'd be interesting to lead with Profane Memento. I might do that. Obviously, my opponent's going to play first, so we'll see if they're going to accelerate to 3 or not. If they don't, I may just hang tight here with the Crabs. All right, we've kept 6 here, 54 cards, nothing too crazy. They do fetch. We don't have an Archive Trap, unfortunately, to start things off this time. Basic Forest, and we'll probably see a Utopia Sprawl or an Arbor Elf. Arbor Elf it is. Okay. Archive Trap right on time. I actually kind of like playing the Profane Memento here over the Crab. I know I could get a second Crab here, but we didn't have any Archive Trap the last time. They may feel safe to fetch, and if they do, gaining like 3 life potentially or even more would be really nice. Offset a Bolt or so. This also means that each Crab will at least mill 3 because I'll play the Crab and then play the land more than likely. Little Utopia Sprawl for our opponent. Ooh, they do not have another land. Wow. Going all in on the single land there. I see. All right, let's play a Crab here. Land and play new Crab as well. Get to yield some things here. Having 2 Crabs seems reasonable as long as we don't get Anger of the Gods. There's a Blood Moon. Love to Glimpse. Archive Trap can be unlocked with Feel the Ruin. Things are looking pretty good. Not to mention that if we get to do the Ruin Crab, Field, and Archive Trap, we potentially have double Glimpse after that. Looking strong, and it appears my opponent may only have 4 mana here. Kept the 1-lander. It's risky. Could have had a Fatal Push, and then what would they be doing here? Oh. Oh. We may not Field of Ruin, because they may not ever have... they may never have another land. Alright, my opponent can still make 4 mana here. Utopia Sprawl is a little bit net neutral here. A lot of red being placed on the Utopia Sprawl, so they can't actually make double green this turn. I wonder if they have something like a Seasoned Pyromancer here. Blood Moon. Alright. Well, we're shut off black here. This is where Glimpse will become less impactful. We still have swamps, though. We can find those. Let's do a field here, double mill, and we'll put Lurrus to hand. Nothing else going on this turn. My opponent won't be fetching either going forward because, well, Blood Moon. 41 cards to go here. Meeting one of our basic swamps. Opponent's found a Flooded Strand. Can make a lot of mana, only making 4 for Bloodbraid Elf, spinning into a extra Blood Moon. I suppose they should play that. And we'll just get hit for 3 here. We're gaining life as we go. Uh-oh. And a Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay, goes down to 38 cards here, but drawing new cards here. Gets an extra elemental as well. We gain 1 because Seasoned Pyromancer goes to the bin. Attacks for 3. All you. Sweet. Come on, basic swamp. No such luck here so far. My opponent's got a Gaia's Blessing here as well. That's good to know. So they are playing the Gaia's Blessing. So this game 2 is going to be difficult. I don't believe we have anything for enchantments. So we'll bring these surgicals back in. I'd like to see if they have anything else that we need to worry about. Right now it's just the Gaia's Blessing. I also wouldn't mind to see if they would play something specifically that would make me want something else brought in. They bolt one of these. They have another removal for Ruin Crab, and they're pretty good here. I think if they were to kill this other crab here, we might just concede. 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. It's a 3-turn clock. They have so many Utopia Sprawls. Uses Seasoned Pyromancer from the yard here, making more creatures. I block here, 3, 4. I go to 14. Then they have a bunch of damage next turn. Let's take at least one more draw here. Crypt Incursion is nice. We'll pass. Block here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 2-turn clock here. I need the last draw and then we'll know. Even if we were to able to snag that Gaia's Blessing here. Oh, attack with everything. You attack with this. Smash. All right. All right. We'll do this really quick just to see what else they've got. Our Elephant, there's a Rampaging for Rossadon. That's kind of good to know. All right. Let's go ahead and bring some things back in here. Let's bring the Surgicals back in. Surgicals back in. I don't like the Profane Mementos. That was a mistake. Aether Gust seems okay because that's a main board answer. We probably overdid it with the Crypt Incursions. Let's just not worry about that. They're not that aggressive. I almost want to take one Glimpse out just because it's so difficult to cast. Soul Guide Lantern could be interesting because I can at least get rid of most of their graveyard so they don't recur the whole graveyard back in, which makes me kind of want it over potentially like one extra Glimpse here. and try that. That way, when they go to shuffle Gaia's Blessing back in with everything else, if we have the Soul Guy Lantern, we're just in a better shape. Luris. Opening hand is missing lands. We'll mulligan this. All right, this is much better here. We'll keep. I think I want to probably... I probably want to just get rid of the visions here. Although, yeah, let's get rid of the visions. It's tough to say only because the visions would be super important with a, with needing to catch up after we've milled Gaia's Blessing. But I think we'll be okay with Ruin Crab here. Here we go again. Arbor Elf doing the things. Let's go ahead and fetch. We're going to fetch a basic island here. Maybe I can snag... With the surgical, I'm hoping to snag maybe like Blood Moon, but I can also obviously get that glimpse. Or sorry, I can get the Gaia's. There's a Blood Moon. Do I want the Blood Moon here? I don't have any more black. I guess I can see if they're going to play Utopia Sprawl, and if they do, I could reactively go after a Blood Moon here. Because right now they don't have enough mana to do this. The Stomping Ground, that's a field target, which helps me get more basic mana. So they're untapping here to get potentially what looks like Blood Moon mana because of where they've tapped. I'm going to go ahead and surgical the Blood Moon here in response to Arbor Elf. Just because they didn't do the double red, which could be Pillage and Season Pyromancer and stuff like that. So I want to take the Blood Moon here so I don't get locked out. Good call. Good call. We got to beat the other stuff eventually, and we'll get there. It looks like they'll be able to play either Bone Crusher or Lightning Bolt, which is totally fine. All right, how many Gaia's Blessings do they have? They have one. All right, we've taken all 4 Blood Moons. Cool. On you, opponent. They're going to kill Crab. Poor Crab. This does mean that our Luris here, though, is going to be a potential active thing. They might also play that Bone Crusher Giant, and they do that instead. Bonus Ruin Crab's kind of nice. Then we could play Mesmeric Orb down as well. Let's go ahead and yield to these. They can always potentially draw the Gaia's as well. We'll see, though. High chances to have everything hit the bin here. I think a Soul Guide Lantern is probably our best bet. I expect maybe a Bolt here. Maybe if they hit that land, that Bloodbraid Elf will show up. It'd be funny to use Bloodbraid Elf and then get to their one Gaia's Blessing here. Opponent plays a Utopia Sprawl. We're going to Bolt, untap, Mesmeric Orb. Flame Slash. Bloodbraid Elf. Don't hit the Gaia's Blessing. Magus of the Moon. It's the new art, too. That shuts us out of Luris and our black because we decided to go how we did with Crab plus Mesmeric Orb. That's a really good hit for them. We mill a few here. We had a Fatal Push, which doesn't do anything for us. We pass back. They mill 5. We know one is a Lightning Bolt. We have 2 unknowns, I believe. 1 unknown now. I suppose we could have put Luris to hand that last time. There's a Relic. Well, I have to block now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll block 4 damage here. Going to 3. It's a shame I don't have, like, Swamp here for Crypt Incursion. We'll go ahead and redraw with the Visions, but I think our time is done here. Well, I could Orb them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's mill for 10. It was close. It's close. We avoided Blood Moon, and I think with the Raminaut Ruins plus the crabs, and especially seeing a Bantus here, we would have been totally fine. Are they not even going to mill it? They didn't even mill it. Could be in the last 6 cards here. Unfortunately, we'll take 3. There's the bolt. They top decked the bolt. There you go. Mill gets Blood Mooned out, unfortunately. And we had the right things going for us. I'm actually kind of curious how many of the Magus they do have. Only because I don't see a single one here, and I don't think I caught one. There's one. All right, so it's probably 2. Well, Mill's not off to a great start. We did hit them completely, and we went 1-2 in the match. We'll see if we can pick it up in matches 2, 3, 4, and 5. See you in the next one. Match 2 coming up here. All right, so people are still running sideboard hate for Mill. We'll keep that in mind. Let's go. Let's find our next opponent, and let's play some Magic. All right. Not too bad here. Let's go ahead and play second. I'm going to keep this one. It's really hard not to. 2 crabs, pair of visions, and a maddening here with appropriate mana base. I mean, what's not to like? Scalding Tarn for our opponent. Extra crab here. We just play a crab and just play them all. Play them all. If they don't bolt this with the Scalding Tarn getting red mana, then we're in a great shape. They do fetch and shock, but they do make blue here, and they have an opt. Seems great for us. Don't hurt my crab, please. Scalding Tarn here, wanting 2 mana, an extra red source, not blue. Gut Shot's me paying for it, which seems a little odd to pay for it. I don't follow, opponent. I don't follow. Ruined Crab played here. I'm going to put the Watery Grave in. I think I'm still going to shock this in. Mill a few here. And we'll play another crab here as well. We have a light up the stage, Sprite Dragons. This is some prowess matchup thing. I'm surprised the Gut Shot hit upstairs and then nothing else happened. 2 mana Manamorphose? Manamorphose indeed. If we hit a fetch land here, I think we just about win at this point. Being able to fetch, mill them for a ton, not to mention maddening plus visions as well. I don't see a world in which we would lose from there. All right, extra mountain here. We're gonna shoot one. Lava darts 1 crab here, so they're gonna try to get rid of a crab here. Feeling that it's necessary to do this right now, even though they do not get the prowess triggers next turn. Land? It is a land. Let's go ahead and mill 6. We have a Soul Scar, a Swift Spear, Sprite Dragon. That gains us a decent chunk here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just pass the turn here and use the Crypt Incursion to gain some life after my opponent attacks. Gets us a little bit further away from visions, only briefly until I get to do maddening. Not to mention field could be used as well. Opponent's going to attack for 3. We'll take it. I sense some sort of light up the stage perhaps. There's a Wooded Foothills. A Swift Spear. End step, and we will attempt a Crypt Incursion. We'll see if they have a counter. Most of the time, Prowess does not. Back up to 23. 15 cards in my opponent's graveyard, and we found ourselves a Fatal Push. Let's go ahead and Maddening. This will unlock us to do a Visions here. We'll go ahead and Visions. Finding a land, hopefully? No land was found, unfortunately. Guess we'll just pass the turn here. They go fetching. We have the Archive Trap. 25 cards to go. I feel like we're in a fine spot here. My opponent just concedes. We have the field to fetch, archive trap, and we get land, visions. We could then find another land. We can then fatal push. Yeah, we'd find the polluted delta. It was good. It was good. Lots of crabs. Lots of crabs. All right, this is definitely feels like a Aether Gust Crypt Incursion matchup. Blood Chief's probably okay. So this is more of an aggressive matchup, making me want the bridge a little bit because bridge is actually reasonably decent against prowess. They might have a lot of removal, which makes the Luris a little bit more interesting. I think this is probably the Profane Memento, and we get rid of the Surgicals. I don't think this one has an anti-mill card in it, so I'm gonna lean towards that. Let's go ahead and bring in extra life gain, counter, and then removal, Profane. I'm gonna cut up visions here for an extra Profane. And let's just try it with the spot removal and not worry about Bantus. I think Bantus has got to be for when a list goes really, really wide. I can see a lot of damage being pointed towards our crabs here if we find them. All right, I think we could maybe try this hand. We can keep this. We can avoid Blood Moon with this hand, and we can archive trap them potentially. My opponent does play a fair amount of fetches. So perfect example here. We get to kill the Soul Scar Maged. We'll do it off of a basic swamp. Bam, get out of here. And go ahead, opponent. Adds one more thing to the graveyard for this Crypt Incursion we happen to top deck into. All right, no follow-up. Well, it's really hard not to just go ahead and Maddening here. Just keep getting basics here. Let's just Maddening because we're trying to mill them out. There we go. Looking decent so far. We do get them into some lava darts here. A lot of lands actually. Extra lava dart is used here at our end step. Still a little bit odd how they're using their lava darts and gut shots. Floats mana and then uses lava dart to then play a Stormwing. Okay. Interesting. Let's glimpse the unthinkable. I might try to go after this Spire Bluff Canal next turn, just because with the Crypt Incursion and the potential of the Field of the Ruin here, with all of our mill, we might get them here. Bolts me. I don't even know what I want with the Polluted Delta. They could have Blood Moon, but now they're so far away from it. I almost don't see a reason why I don't Crypt Incursion here. Now we get to just crab, field, mill a little bit more here, and then Crypt Incursion them. I'm just going to do it right now. I don't want this to get countered randomly. Let's just gain a bunch. 8 to 26. Go ahead, opponent. And there you go. That's enough. They're done. At this point, we just field, make them search. They probably have enough mountains, so they still would get something, but then we get to archive trap as well. We hit them for 16 of their 30 cards remaining, and with a land and a glimpse coming, that should be enough. Obviously, we would have maybe shuffled this away, but 60 cards gone, 1 and 1. We'll see you in the next one. Now what's interesting here is that we've made it into our match number 3. We've actually probably goofed up match 1, and hopefully you've learned something. What's important is to go ahead and learn on the fly. You'll notice that sometimes we don't play as optimally on a list that we just got, or haven't played in a while, because practice does really matter. What do I mean by that? Well, remembering what to sideboard, remembering what maybe beat you last time, or what perhaps like a green deck would have versus a red deck versus black, and so on and so forth, is really important when you're making your sideboard choices. I've said it before, I'll say it again here. Sideboarding can and many times will decide games 2 and 3 if you do it properly. Even if you're ahead, it's sometimes nice to try some stuff, but keep in mind that that might put you at a disadvantage and you may lose the entire match. Match 3 here, let's see what we've learned. Let's put it to the test and let's find this opponent. Let's play some Magic. Keep your head up, right? When that happens, you gotta learn. If you go into a big event and you learn from your match 1, you take it the rest of the way, you can literally win the entire league. Let's get this in Luris. Luris, Archive Trap, Eliminate, Drowns. All right, we can probably do this. We can probably do this. I'm expecting in many cases my opponents to fetch. We have Luris. We're going to show Watery Grave. This should show them that we're probably in mill or some sort of other counter deck. We have a Scalding Tarn here. Excellent. Archive Trap's going to unlock Drown the Lock if we feel we need to keep ourselves afloat here. There's Serum Visions here. I'm going to let them do their scrying first. He almost fired it off. All right, and goodbye, Scry. All right, so we have Storm. So this will be quite interesting. I think for Storm, I'm just gonna hit him again with the Glimpse here and pass the turn back. We're at the point that we see a Grape Shot here. If I top deck a Surgical, we're in great shape. Visions is online now. Fatal Push can get rid of Baral or a Goblin Electromancer. We're looking very good so far. Shame I can't Visions in response to the Polluted Delta here. Opponent goes to 14, 18 to 14, but that doesn't matter. We have 25 cards to go. Pyretic Ritual here. Are they gonna just get me here? Up to 4, Desperate Ritual. Manamorphose. Now we're gonna put Goblin down. Or Baral. Empty the Warrens. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and Visions here. We've got to win this game. There's a Crypt Incursion. That doesn't gain us a lot. Got to double Drown the Lock and Eliminate. Fatal Push. Let's go ahead and just pass it back. We have 24 cards we've got to get through somehow as well. I hate taking 8 here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just eliminate one of these since they didn't cast anything. We'll see if they have like a Remand. 7 is a lot different here. I can Fatal Push plus Crypt Incursion possibly. Sleight of Hand. It's an extra card milled technically. Scalding Tarn. Fetching now rather than later. Finds an island. Mesmeric Orb's an interesting one. I think we go for that because milling out 7 here is a huge deal. And this also is underneath a Remand, which they may have. And then I can follow this up with like Fatal Push if they Remand it. We'll wait on the Fatal Push until it's their turn so that they untap 8 things and get milled for 8. We're also doing this in case they have a Repeal. The Repeal won't bother the Mesmeric Orb here. All right. Life total super matters here. I'm going to go ahead and mill a lot of things down to 13 cards. Tax for 7, it looks like. Leaves 1 back for some reason. Leaves 2 back for some reason. Leaves 3 back for some reason. They're very careful here. They're trying to determine how many they can go with without getting milled out here. 5. If I shoot one of these, if I shoot one, we go to 4, that goes to 7, and then they have 4, 5, 6. This fatal push is really critical here, I think. Okay. They mill a little bit less, but I think that's okay. We want a... I think we want a crab or something. Oh, now I got the crab. Gonna mill 4 here. Do we have any lightning bolts? No lightning bolts showing. We do see a past in flames. See a grape shot here too. Let's go ahead and play a hedron crab down and pass the turn. If we went after the steam vents, I have a feeling that it would be a stone rain here, but I think I want to pass. Maybe have crypt incursion open or something like that. We're blocking enough here. I feel okay with this. Maybe they try to go for the kill here. Attacks for 5. I'm gonna block one of these. One, 2, 3, 4, and then they bolt me, which would put 7. I think I have to allow them to try to bolt me and then maybe crypt incursion in response. It says untap. There's a visions. If I would have hit a land here, I would have had 3 plus a drown the lock open, which is what I was hoping for. I also feel like if they had the bolt, I feel like they'd go for it, but maybe they wouldn't. Let's go ahead and just visions here, because a land should kill them because of crab. All right, so we hit nothing. I feel like I'm supposed to visions again. It's visions again here. We're tapping out of a drown the lock. There's a land. It's a good land. So that makes the mill out here. And now we have 3 mana for the crypt incursion in response to something. Go ahead, opponent. Do you have it? Nope. All right. Playing around bolt there. There's the other grape shot down here. We haven't seen a bolt in their entire list here, so it's maybe unlikely that would be the case. But sometimes they run 2 or 3 and they have 6 cards in their hand. Can't not go for that, right? All right. Mystical Dispute seems okay. Aether Gust seems all right as well. Extirpate's probably okay. Still got lanterns. Eliminate fatal pushes. Crypt Incursion's not the greatest either. They don't have that many. They don't have that many creatures. Let's bring a fatal push back in. They are a version that has fetches, so Archive Trap looks good. I think this is fine. We have a lot of graveyard interaction for them, a couple counter spells, plus the drowns. Yeah, let's do this. It's good. We do have to worry about a quick empty the Warrens, but we showed we could beat that, so let's just do it again, right? Easy. Maybe not. Trying to decide when I would want the bridge. It's probably like cat combo, Titan. Might have been okay against that Ponza player. taking a little bit to sideboard. I'm trying to think if Storm has anything that I'm going to be really upset about if it shuffles back in. Even if they do, I mean, I have the maximum amount of things that interact with their graveyard. They can't waste spots on that, right? Exactly. Let's do it. 60 cards. Didn't shove a bunch of cards into their list. Good on them. Going for the win. What do you got, opponent? They have a Luris avatar. They have a Luris avatar. We have Luris the Companion. Luris declared. Opening hand. His opening hand could be a lot better. Although we have an Archive Trap and a Glimpse, we actually can't cast the Glimpse on turn 2, and there's no guarantee my opponent has a fetch. Let's go ahead and mulligan this first one. This is 1,000 times better. We're going to keep this. I may just get rid of the Watery Grave, honestly, and let's just win. Let's just win. They did have a fetch, by the way. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Serum Visions here. Serum Visions. I kind of want to hold the Ruin Crab, and only because Ruin Crab plus Extirpate, it's a pretty good turn, especially with the Polluted Delta. So we're going to just hang out here, see what else my opponent does. Make it look like maybe I have a Fatal Push here. Maybe they play a little less optimally here with the Serum Visions. Extra Surgical here now. They put one card on top, one card on bottom. We'll play Crab, noting that my opponent did not find a land. Let's go ahead and do the fetching, all of that. I think I can just pick up a swamp at this point. Well, there's not really anything I super want. I could get the Desperates and the Pyretics out of here. I could take the Lightning Bolt here too. Really wasn't a lot there, was there? I'm going to take the Lightning Bolt here so they don't kill Crab. And then I get a peek at what they've got here. I'm going to do a quick snipping tool of their hand because... Alright, so we have an Opt, Manamorphose, Grapeshot, Echoing Truth, Braids. We do have Veils in here, that's kind of good to know. Repeals, Engineered Explosives, Past in Flames, some Beholds, Barals, Aria of Flames, kind of annoying. But nothing else I'm too frightened of. Sounds good. The Abrade is a little annoying since I do have a Mesmeric Orb here, but we'll see if my opponent can find their next land. Opponent does Opt here. Puts the card on bottom and draws a card. And my opponent concedes as they haven't found anything at this point. We play our land here. We would play land and fetch. At this point I could extirpate and plus Mesmeric Orb. I'm just going to hit a few more lands here. Eventually just hard cast Archive Trap. My opponent missing that second land for forever is just going to be a problem. They could maybe Manamorphose, and then what? Abrade the Mesmeric Orb? Or they Echoing Truth the Mesmeric Orb or the Crab. At that point, though, they're so far behind that they're just not, probably just not going to win. We take it down. That makes us 2-1. Positive record. Stumbled at the very beginning. We're doing all right. Let's go to match number 4. We'll see you there. Match number 4 here. This is my opportunity to thank Hoodwinked Ian, and all of those that are giving us these buy leagues, donating and tipping us for these. Thank you so much. If you would like to be one of those people, you can check out our description below, and then I'll give you some information if you want to see a list punted away by me. With that, match 4 is found. Let's go. Let's mill someone out. we lose the die roll. Well, unfortunately, we both rolled 6s. And then I rolled a 3. It's a shame. I almost had it. All right, Luris declared. Sounds good. We don't know what we're playing against. Maybe the trap will work. Crypt Incursion's a little bit awkward. You know what? I'm feeling like it's an okay hand here. We're gonna top deck that crab and everything's gonna work out just fine. Oh no, Water Grave. Oh no. Put a fetch land in here, so it looks like I'm some sort of control list with Luris. I need my opponent to fetch. I can force it at least later. What are you gonna do, opponent? Flooded Strand. We'll go ahead and fetch. Get a Watery Grave. Looks like we're against some sort of control list. There's a crab. Attempt to resolve a crab here before using Flooded Strand. Flooded Strand here, and we'll just hang out. Not going to use this. Maybe I get to surgical something. Ooh. Teferi would actually be kind of annoying. Like, little Teferi. Wonder if I'm supposed to fetch in response to this. I think I am. Let's do it. Let's get a Watery Grave here. We can shock in here. That seems appropriate. Mill 3 again. Another big Teferi. There's an Esper Charm. Basic island found for our opponent. They do eliminate us, and we're going to go ahead and mill them some more here. All right, is anything that I want? Let's go ahead and Visions here. We do not hit another Archive Trap, but I could Surgical right now. And I sort of want to. I kind of want to Surgical the Archmage Charm, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, we don't have another one, unfortunately. Grab this. All right, so we have Jace, Mana Leak, Polluted Delta, Snapcaster Supreme. And then what do we have as a win condition here? Jace, Kaya's Guile here, some Snapcaster Mages. So really, it's just this Jace, honestly. Okay, I think we can beat that. It's gonna be tough, but I think we can do it. They play that Polluted Delta. They have Mana Leak. Let's go ahead and let's take this turn to put Luris to hand here. This way I can do something like Maddening plus Glimpse if they do go for that Jace. I know they have a Supreme Verdict here. They do shock in. They decide Snapcaster is the way, plus probably Opt. Okay. Not bad, not bad. All right. 27 cards to go. They get a basic Plains here and opt that Jace is the way to go. We can make them shuffle if I wanted to. I'm not sure I want to, though. I think it's just Maddening plus Glimpse, because that gets rid of the cards on top. I'm sure my opponent realizes this. This is a mill for 18, which is pretty sizable. They'll be probably looking for Force, so if I find myself a Surgical, I'll happily get rid of the Force. All right, no Surgical here. Let's go ahead and attempt a Maddening, though. And we'll attempt a Glimpse the Unthinkable as well. 8 cards to go. Good luck, opponent. There's another Force as well. So we don't really know what they have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about here. So the Supreme Verdict is no longer in their hand. They kept the Mana Leak, it looks like, because this Mana Leak is too far down. So we have a Mana Leak in my opponent's hand. I don't think I have to cast this Luris. I might just Field of Ruin next and take them off of a black source here. It's not very useful without a crab out, but I don't think we actually need that right now. Knowing that they want to draw things and they've got a Snapcaster Maze, the Crypt Incursion might actually buy us enough here. One Snapcaster. I'd have to somehow kill this. Opponent decides drawing cards is the correct line here. I think that is gutsy. Plays a Castle Vantress with 6 cards remaining and attacks us for 2, puts us to 10. Let's go ahead and play Field of Ruin down. I'm going to try to nail the castle here instead, since that's a nice scry effect for them. I'm not too worried about black mana at this point in the game. I'm tempted to go ahead and try to play the Lurrus into this mana leak. I could also wait on the Lurrus too. Get our land here. See if my opponent gets anything. They get nothing here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 3. I think I just passed the turn here. I might have to just try to Crypt Incursion, hope that they just have only mana leak, or tap out in some fashion here. I think if they tap out, I might fire it off. It's only going to gain us 3, though, at the moment. Actually, no, there's 2 Snapcasters. 1 here and 1 here. There's a mana leak somewhere in there. End step, I might go ahead and go for the Crypt Incursion. I probably don't need to, though. I'm at 8. Oh, yeah. Let's try to cast Lurrus here. This is just a good blocker. They can bounce it with Jace if they want to. I'll play a Ruin Crab. I don't feel like there's a way that they can kill me this turn. So I'm going to play Ruin Crab and then this Orb. This might be the mana leak. It is the mana leak. We will attempt a Orb right after this, which will mill 3. Almost making them dead here. This has to be countered, I think. They don't like that one either. Okay, Snapcaster into... What is this? Spell Snare. I'm like, what could they have? They have a Spell Snare. Nice. All right. So they get us that way. They have 3 cards remaining. Kaya's Guile to get rid of my graveyard and sacrifice Lurrus. Oh, no, sorry. Make a Spirit here. Okay. Guess I'm going to be Crypt Incursioning. I have 1, 2 creatures. They technically have the 2 Snapcasters as well. So I don't think it matters which graveyard I go to. My opponent uses a Polluted Delta but finds nothing. They use it to shuffle with Jace? No. They're attacking the top here. Puts the card on bottom. This is going to come down to, does Crypt Incursion resolve or not, I think. I can Surgical them. When I Surgical them, what do I want to get? Let's take a peek real quick. Cryptic Command's not a problem. Force of Negation could be a problem. I see 2 forces. I see 2 mana leaks. I see a Logic Knot so far. I think Force is the scariest thing for me because I can pay for mana leak. I can't pay for Logic Knot if they have another one, but I think Logic Knot's a 1 of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go ahead and attempt a Surgical on their Force of Negation. Let's see what the other cards are in their hand. It's a mana leak, the Fatal Push, and we have a Cryptic Command. Okay. We'll take force. We'll take force. So if I Crypt Incursion them, I get another draw. We have the Mana Leak. They might get the Cryptic command here. So they only had 2 forces. That's important to remember. Okay. So which library or graveyard has the most creatures? We have a Luris Crab. That's it. They have Snapcaster, Snapcaster, and that's it. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and hit their graveyard, gain 6, go up to 10. They have 5 Create 5 here, though, and they could get that Cryptic command to stop the next thing that I'm doing. Actually, I don't think they can, because they can't draw 3 cards. They'll lose, right? So this puts me up to 10. Yes. They should Fatal Push their own Snapcaster real fast. All right, we're at 10. Go ahead, opponent. We know it's a Mana Leak Fatal Push, and then either one of the 2 lands or something else. Opponent goes up here with Jace, checking the top of our library, and they do put the card on top. It's actually a shame I didn't put the Polluted Delta to do a fetch. It was a Polluted Delta. All right, opponent beats us here with 5 damage. If I put the Polluted Delta, I would get a random draw. Could have drawn into the Orb, Crab, something like that. Ooh, all right. Extirpate, Mystical Disputes look interesting to me. Soul Guide Lantern's probably okay as well. Let's get rid of these Crypt Incursions. They're not very good. Eliminate hits Planeswalkers. That's fine. I think we still cut a couple Fatal Pushes. Might just cut all the Fatal Pushes, except I guess 1. Actually, let's just bring the Blood Chiefs in. Yeah, like that. All right, so Jace got him there. It was pretty close. Sequencing without that Bloodstain or the Polluted Delta might have cost us because the Jace could go up. We needed 2 winners on the top instead of just randomizing it. All good. My opponent fetches a lot. Archive Trap's looking good. A lot of Surgicals. We know what they're trying to win with. It's a Planeswalker, so let's make it happen. Luris declared here. Opening hand seems okay. We'll go ahead and keep. Since we're on the play, we're going to get to put down one of these orbs relatively quickly. Opponent mulligans to 6. Play our Polluted Delta and pass the turn. I wonder how many more spell snares they have. Only a shock in here. Looks like they might have one. Can't be scared, just gotta jam in the Mesmeric Orb here. Might do it off of Field of Ruin, because we can draw a Crab. So, Orb it is. Opponent opts. Maybe they're looking for a force. Resolves. All right. Ooh, Mystical Dispute hits the bin here. Extra land. We mill 2. Bonus orb. I'll go ahead and just keep playing orbs at this point. We have many of them. Okay, we might keep Drown the Lock open next. We'll just have to see. They could play a little Teferi. They do not. I'm going to leave this unfetched here for the time being. There's a Crab. Let's try Crab. Crab's good. Crab's the thing. Snapcaster. All right. Goes after a Mystical Dispute here to counter Crab. Say no. And here I'm gonna do a swamp here to another Mesmeric orb. We're doing this because an extra swamp here helps us to cast Luris. That being said, we may not do a lot more with our mana here. Tapping a mana mills for a crab. It's a lot of things that just ended up in your graveyard, opponent. Leave ourselves the option to just start countering from here on out. 42 to 39, but I'm going to be milling 9. We might die to our own orbs. We'll see. It's a lot of orbs. Castle's played here. Attack for 2. That's dangerous. Mill 3. Oh, this mill is going to be a big one right here. Does not even attack for the 2 here. It's going to be a game of chicken here. Alright, we're down to 32 cards. Soul Guide Lantern's tempting, but I'm going to pass the turn. We'll see who flinches first here. It might have to be me. Shocks in the Hallowed Fountain. I wonder why they would do that. There's an eliminate. We'll pass. Is the extra orb gonna kill us? I don't know. I would like something like a land at this point. I think it's dangerous for them to go for it, right? If they go for anything, they could lose. Because they tap so much more than I do. Ooh. Ooh. Archive Trap's kind of cute. Come on, fetch. I'd rather them fetch than me. Down to 28 cards. There's a land. All right, we're moving it. Talk about a lock. Extirpate's an interesting one. I think we're going to pass here. Gonna get rid of an eliminate. We're gonna have to find a turn where we can like fire off everything. Maybe an extra archive trap will be close enough that if they tap out, the orbs could kill them. So I'll have to do something kind of like that near the end of this game. Hope they don't have too many cryptics, right? They're thinking about attacking. Let's go ahead and fetch for ourselves here. Alright, we don't have too many lands left. There's a crab. I don't think I can quite do a crab. Let's get rid of a Soul Guide Lantern. I want to sync it up so that I can Field of Ruin them and then blast them with so many archive traps. But I have to do it on like my end step. I don't know when to pull the trigger. I think I've screwed myself over here with the Mesmeric Orbs. We've ditched an Esper Charm. What else are we gonna ditch, opponent? A Mentor here. I'm gonna plop a crab down. I'm gonna plop a crab down. That can't feel good, right? They're like, I gotta counter this. I gotta counter this. Do you? Do you? I have reacted first. It'll cost me 3. Oh, we don't like this. A mana leak. I will say no. You mill 6, I mill 3. Was it worth it, opponent? Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Alright, they mill some. Down to 23. I'm at 22. I will mill 3 here myself. Maddening. I don't have enough in their graveyard yet that I could guarantee that I'll archive trap. Let's try another crab here and see if they want to flinch again. Would you like to counter this crab? The answer is no. Maybe they'll fatal push it. If they fatal push it, I wonder if I have to go for some stuff here with archive traps. I need them to fetch. We mill another 3, so we draw, so we'll be at 14. We'll see if my opponent wants to interact with us at this point in the game. I just need probably 2 archive traps. If I have enough archive traps to make this orb really awkward. Ooh, we're doing something. Archmage charms me. One, two, 3 cards are currently tapped. It's a mill for 3, 6, 9. With the archive trap, we win here. I know that I have blue mana remaining because I haven't milled it. Let's go ahead 1, 2 and go after a... Let's go after a Watery Grave here. It's time to go. It's time to go. Force it and archive trap them. We're leaving ourselves with a Drown the Lock. We're also leaving ourselves with a Visions to potentially draw into another archive trap. It's all got to happen here. They're trying to counter mill us. Whoa, we're floating mana. All right. You float that mana, opponent. All right. Island obtained. Mill them. Archive trap. I think I do this all while this is on the stack still. 1, 2, 3. They could even cryptic and I could do like extirpate something and then Drown the Lock, but I could also do Visions here. My opponent's tapping mana. This is okay. Polluted Delta used here before losing their mana here. I can't imagine I Visions here, right? Maybe I should just be extirpating something that we see here. I'd almost like them to use 1 force here. Like hard cast a force or something. There's a cryptic. Counter target spell return. They can't pay for cryptic again. They could pay for a mana leak here. They could also pay for force. Let's go ahead and extirpate the mana leak here. This way I can Drown the Lock the cryptic command so this doesn't bounce. Cryptic command snap. There is a spell snare here for this Drown the Lock. If they fetch with Flooded Strand, they can hit a Godless Shrine, but that is it. So this Drown the Lock is clear here to counter target spell. This will mill them out. Mesmeric Orb is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, which is lethal. I didn't see anything that we needed to worry about. You may have my crab. Your Flooded Strand can go get a Godless Shrine. I think we got there. Oh, I think we did. I don't know. We did. Counter battle there right at the end. Our crabs are more efficient. In order to counter these, they have to usually spend 2. That caught us up when we were behind. This Mesmeric Orb's pretty good. 1 and 1. Let's go. Any changes? No. No, just send it back. Let's draw 3 orbs again. Let's draw them all. A different kind of lock. It is the mill lock here on the stream. That was cool. Let's go again, opponent. All right. We're on the draw this time. I mean, this is pretty good. I think we go ahead and still keep this. We'll see if they do some fetching here. Looks like they're not interested in doing any immediate fetching. Let's go ahead and put a palace and a crab down. Go ahead, opponent. Mystical disputes the crab immediately. That's fine with us. Glacial Fortress. All right, let's play crab and see if I can get a polluted delta down. We do. Polluted delta. We're going to pass on doing anything with the crab here because they might have a fatal push, so we're just gonna like hang out and chill here. Hang out and chill. We have a good chance of winning this with double archive trap, especially if I can do this when they're like tapped out or on our turn or something like that. We're just gonna take this turn back here. Nice. Now they're like, well, fine, I'll kill the crab. I'll kill the crab, fine. Archmage Charm to steal our crab. Interesting. Wonder if this really matters. Especially if I am able to like archive visions here. I want to do crab now instead of trying to do the field. They're tapped out right now, which makes me kind of want to do that. This is 13-26 plus a draw here. You know what? It's probably just smarter to do crab here and line it up for the best turn ever. We'll shock in, make it look like we've got something else going on here, and go ahead, opponent. Nice. All right. They mill us, unless they want to mill themselves. Oh, wait, they can't. Ruin crab. Field of Ruin, Swamp, and Extirpate hit the bin. Those are really good cards. Mesmeric Orb is tempting. So we mill them a little bit. I think I want to go ahead and fire off Field of Ruin here. We can do this on like the white mana because I see a plains down there to take them off to fairies. We'll then attempt an orb, and when they get all upset about that orb showing up, we'll get them with the archive traps. We both mill a little bit. That was fun. It was shared milling. Let's go to second main phase briefly. They have white floating, not interested in that. Oh, they're using it right now. Esper Charms. All right. Mesmeric Orb. I feel like they'd counter this and then I double archive trap them. They allow this to resolve. We'll go to end step before firing these off. Archive trap number 1. Do you have a counter? Nope. Archive trap number 2. That puts them to 6 cards here. 4 when they mill 2, if this resolves. Oh ho ho. I don't think they can beat us. Goes to 4 cards here. This Palace in the Clouds with crab is lethal. And Wonder if tapping out of that Esper Charm got him here. There you go. We got there. We're going to mill a little bit with the Mesmeric Orb. Top deck is going to be at Drown the Lock, plus then Surgical, Surgical, and Glimpse after we do a Visions. I assume the Visions probably doesn't resolve, but at that point, they're done. Hey, that's 3-1 so far. Can we make it a 4-1 here with Mill? I think we possibly can. Let's go to our next match. We'll see you there. Final match here. Things aren't looking too bad. Currently 3-1, and that does make us positive, which is always a really good thing on these bio leagues. I always feel a little bit down if we don't at least go positive, but hey, Magic is a game of variance and it doesn't always happen. But we'll take this. 3-1, let's see if we can make it a 4-1. After all, Mill's pretty strong. Stumbling just a little bit also at the very, very beginning. It's almost like we have to get warmed up. Maybe we should start recording 6 matches and a practice one at the very beginning. I don't know. Who knows? Let's find this opponent. Final opponent, the raid boss of this league. Let's find our match. We'll see it there. Maybe cut. And then cut back. Now there probably won't be a cut back. Unless it's really long. It was a while. It was a while. Match. Let's go. Let's get it done. We're on the draw. Laris declared. Well, Mesmeric Orb has been pretty decent. No crabs here, but removal, surgical, and an archive trap. Let's do it. I think we'll keep. Planes. Well, that's kind of annoying. Ooh, crab's not a bad pickup here. We'll go ahead and crab them and pass turn. Hopefully no path here. It is a snow-covered plains. This feels reasonably strong here. I don't have any way to protect the crab, unfortunately. But I want to be able to play this orb pretty rapidly after the fact. And they do path. All right. Little path there. We'll just get an island. That seems reasonable to me. They may not have many fetches here if they're like a Death and Taxes style list. That's okay, though. That is a-okay. My opponent does have to attack us to kill us. So let's go ahead and play Orb and see where it goes from here. Skyclave would be kind of annoying. Oh, there's a Field of Ruin. Oh, there's a Field of Ruin. Speaking of Skyclave. All right, well, we have a way to eliminate, we have a way to Skyclave kill something. We have a Field of Ruin of our own now, which actually I somewhat want to use. That being said, if I use it, then we're kind of dead in the water in interacting. Let's go ahead and wait. I may try to do Drown the Lock or eliminate Thalia here at end step. We'll take 4, but I'll counter something if there's something more pressing. Them not being tapped out does make it hard to target the Field of Ruin. Okay. We can eliminate that. It's going to be so hard for us to archive trap with this active here. Let's go ahead and eliminate Thalia. Allow Archon to resolve, because then I'll probably Drown the Lock the Archon. But now we can do this like this. And get black here. And then I can go ahead, I could archive trap here. If I do, I won't really be able to surgical very well. Let's go ahead and attempt a Drown the Lock on the Archon now to then archive trap and surgical them. We're trying to fill the graveyard, so the Crypt Incursion's really powerful here. My opponent could path this if they wanted to. So they do path this. It gives them an extra land. And we'll just go ahead and archive trap them and then see if there's anything that's really scary, and we'll go ahead and surgical it on their draw step probably. All right, I see a Flicker Wisp. Another Thalia. Leon and Arbiter could be a pain. Skyclave could be a pain. I don't see anything that's like super pressing here. I guess another Skyclave would be kind of annoying. We could also just let this go because of surgical here. You know what? I'm going to let it go. Surgical is 2 damage. We do have to watch ourselves a little bit. I know I have the Crypt Incursion, but if I take like a creature here, then I get 3 less life. Obviously, they wouldn't get to play it, but that's not necessarily anything in their hand. Attacks for 2. Down to 9 we go. New Thalia. That's pretty good. Giver. Okay. Let's go ahead and Fatal Push Thalia. Let's draw some cards with Visions. Play land. And on their draw step now, I can use Surgical, and I think I want to Surgical the Thalia, but maybe I want to Surgical like Leon and Arbiter or something. I don't know. I see 1, 2 Thalias. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab a Thalia here. I can leave the Thalias in the yard as well for the Crypt Incursion, which is probably something someone else has already thought of while watching. I think we have a good shot at winning this by doing this on the draw as well. The Crypt Incursion will be either live or not. I can then also follow up with a Mesmeric Orb, and then the following turn archive trap them. Being that they have 3. They asked me if I'm cheating. They happen to draw a Thalia. All right. It just happens to be the most impactful thing when I want to do these 2 things, which is 5 mana. They have a path. So in their upkeep now, I'm going to set the stop. Visions is tempting, but I'm going to go ahead and just do Orb plus Crypt Incursion here. And this will be after they mill 2 more. So we'll let that mill, and we gain 6 more life here, which is excellent. Gain a bunch with Crypt Incursion. Path's not going to do anything for them here. 28 cards to go. We're at 36. And they do have to attack us to kill us. Mesmeric Orb's looking pretty good. Skyclave's our next problem card here. Ghost Quarter plus Path. Looking pretty good for us, especially since I have a Visions. Nice. Cool. All right. We mill a bunch. Not going to worry about what's hitting the battlefield or the graveyard. Let's go ahead and Visions first. Oh, there's only 12 cards. But Maddening's fine here. Land and pass the turn. Cool. We forgot we exiled some creatures. Got a little lucky with the Maddening there. Opponent attacks for 3 here. Let's go ahead and fetch. Pretty sure we have some stuff to still hit. Mill a few cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll archive trap them on the upkeep. Just to show we had it. And pass the turn. They can't beat 29 life with 3 cards We're good. All right. What do we do for this matchup? Crypt Incursion, Bantus, Blood Chiefs. Seems decent. Cut 2 Surgicals and maybe something else like maybe Archive Trap. Yeah, Archive Trap. They have Stoneforge. It's probably still worth it. Let's cut and eliminate. No, that's a bad idea. Yes, let's do it. We're doing it. We did it. Oh no. Not going to bring the Profane Mementos in. Really just a Crypt Incursion probably shuts them down way more than a Profane Memento. Their list is so many creatures that it just makes sense to try to gain a whole bunch of life at some point. So we'll see how that works for us. This is a great hand. Removal, mill, Archive Trap, Crab. What's not to like? We're just going to shock this in. If they have the path, they have the path, fine. If they don't, I'm going to do the orb. Maybe a little bit afraid of Leon and Arbiter plus Ghost Quarter on turn 3. That could kind of get us a little bit. Maybe we'll want to pay for stuff. There's a Rest in Peace, so okay. It's pretty good. Now my Surgicals would be pretty bad. We mill them for a little bit here. Our Visions is kind of bad. I'm trying to decide if I want to do a Maddening or a Glimpse here and risk losing a land. I guess they have to have kind of a lot for that to work. Let's go ahead and... Do I Orb maybe instead? Nah. We're going to Glimpse them. We're going to Glimpse them. Orb being played here and they have a land plus Skyclave. That just gets a little bit awkward. I'd rather play Orb post a 1 or a 3 drop here. It's a giver for them. We'll just see what we are milling. Our Crypt Incursions aren't any good, so we got to watch our life total a little bit here. There is 2 Leonin Arbiters, so I don't feel so afraid now. There is the Ghost Quarter. Okay, an Archon. Archon's scary, but not super scary here. Let's play an Orb down past the turn. Mill for 3, maybe 4 if they decide Aether Vial is worth it here. No land, unfortunately. And we're only playing one a turn anyway because of the Archon, so works for me. The unfortunate thing here is that I can't properly fetch with Hedron Crab and Fatal Push all at the same time. I could do that a little bit later. There goes 2 Stoneforges and a Batterskull. There's Thalia. All right. That's their spell. Attacks for 2. Land. Come on. Bonus Orb. Well. I guess I'll pass here and let them attack with Thalia and then try to Fatal Push it, I guess. Just see if the orbs can win here. I can't play the orb because I only have 2 lands. So Fatal Pushing Thalia gives me the option to play a second orb, which is pretty potent against them, considering I'm not tapping a lot of mana here. If I was tapping more mana, maybe I'd be a little bit afraid of doing the whole orb block again. I can block this Thalia pretty easily, so we'll just hang tight here, blocking. Another Giver. I guess I can't do this because they have a Giver of Ruins. There's another land here. You've already played a spell. Can't do any more. I want to throw down a 2-drop of some sort. Let's go ahead and kill the Giver here. Really could take a land. Land? There's another fatal push. I suppose we got to do that now because the giver's going to come online. And I don't want to get them to mill one more. We end up going over a Bantus. We actually haven't hit any lands, ironically. Opponent mills 2. They do have, and my fear is that they have Leonin Arbiter. There goes a Leonin Arbiter, so it would be the fourth and final Leonin Arbiter. If they have it, they play it, and they double Ghost Quarter us, which I guess is not great. Sword. Sword is scary. Alright, attacks. Land. Alright. 27 cards to go. 27. If I put orb number 2 down, that's 2, 4, 6, 8 that they would mill. They have to get rid of 2 orbs then. That might be enough to kill them, especially since I have Glimpse and Maddening. So we'll just play another orb. By the way, no lands still. Mill 8, please. Sword attach here is a 2. Sword attaches 2. If they play one more spell, it's a lot of mill. They attack with this. Drawing a card's dangerous. Getting them closer. Milling 10 here. I got to mill 8 more. 1, 2, attach 3. That would be 6 mill. Put them to 2. Draw 1. So a land here kills them because I can Hedron Crab and then play the land. They played a land here. They've only attached sword. Attacks for 4, 5, 6 with the ping here. I have to kill them here or I lose. Land needed. Let's go. Land. Yes. All right. Archon is in play, meaning that I can only do one thing, but the Ruin Crab in play should be enough with what they tapped. So land here, Ruin Crab, and then Glimpse. We should be okay. Glimpse, orb trigger here. If they get rid of this orb with a Skyclave, I still mill 1, 2, this card, 3, and 4. And they would be at 4, and they would mill out. That draw of 1 from the Archon could be costing them here. 10 mil instead of 8, plus orbs here. Looks like it's gonna get it done. Looks like it's gonna get it done. Just barely, though. Just barely. They do tap in here. Let's see if it is the Skyclave. Well, it's a Flicker Wisp. That does kind of the same thing. We're still milling them for 4 more here with the untap, tap, tap, tap. Mill 4. Good game, opponent. A very close one, too. And that wraps us up with the 4-1 overall. Not bad. Not bad at all. There you go. 4-1. Treasure chests and play points. We'll see you in the conclusion. Blue Black Mill, Ian and Hoodwink, thank you. This 4-1's for you. We end up getting a very positive record here and a very close game there at the beginning, or at the end. At the beginning, we did stumble, and that did cost us the 5-0. That being said, 5-0s are difficult to get. Here's your list. It's a pretty stock list, and it's definitely doing what it needs to. Hedron Crabs plus Ruin Crabs, making it an 8 crab list. Luris letting us rebuy those. Didn't get to do Luris too many times here, but that option does persist itself as we play league matches. The Glimpse the Unthinkable might have just come in clutch there at the end, milling 10 instead of 8. Although, against that Blood Moon list at the very beginning, it was an exceptionally difficult card to cast. And unless we had more, say, Aether Gust or way to get rid of that Blood Moon, we're in a bit of trouble if that's the route they go. What a league. Mill's always a fun one to play, and I know we stumbled at the beginning, but Blue-Black Mill and even some Sultai Mill lists are pretty sweet. MVP, though we didn't know it at the beginning, and although we mentioned it, I think it has to go to Mesmeric Orb. This card's just sweet. If they're able to remove it, sure, but if not, this could easily mill more than Maddening, and even definitely more than Glimpse, both of them. Only doing their set amounts, this can definitely do a lot. We saw that in the control matchup, actually. Very sweet. No bridges came in. Let me know in the comments perhaps when I should be using bridge. It's tough. We leaned heavily on Crypt Incursion a lot more than perhaps we should have. Everyone, thank you. Hoodwinked and Ian, thank you for supporting the stream. As always, if you've enjoyed the content, leave comments, like, and subscribe. Until next time, everyone, take care, have a good one, and we'll see you in the next matches. Orb Mill, that's what this should be called, not crabs. Orb Mill.